Thanks, Rahul and Tim, for joining yet again. This is our 20th podcast. How does it feel to be 20, guys?
It's a thrilling feeling, to be honest.
I can't believe we made it this far, to be honest.
We hit puberty so long ago, and now we're entering that golden decade where we experiment with things in college and give away $20 Amazon gift cards to our loyal listeners who remember all the clowns of the week. So stay tuned for that. Guys, what a phenomenal week off it's been. I mean, we had Labor Day. What did you guys do to celebrate?
I mostly labored. I was working most.
Were you in labor? Are you trying to say you had a kid on Labor Day?
No, I was performing labor. I was doing labor, manual labor myself, not child labor.
Okay, you're a volunteer child laborer. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on Trump's decision, and what are the political implications?
So my main reaction is it's just shocking how universal the support for DACA is, and the fact that Trump would still go through with this. Like, I think it was something like 70% of the country supports DACA.
Matter of logistical, like an issue that would help Americans in any way, or even is popular. It's more just like a fuck Obama type statement. So, when Obama left office, he did say, like, look, I'm going to try to stay out of the political limelight unless, there are certain things that really hurt the humanity of the country. And he listed this as one of those. Like, if
to me the most, though, guys, is the Republican talking point around, well, these people should have, they should get in line, and they should have known better. They should have come here legally, as if it was their fault, right? I mean, Tim, you talked about they knew nothing else. I mean, when you're brought here as a 5-year-old child, it's kind of hard for you to say, no, Mom, we're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna go queue up in Mexico City, and we're gonna, apply for a visa that doesn't exist. It's like you just go with your family, and then you're brought here, you go to school, you grow up. And the irony, guys, is many of these dreamers, they didn't realize that they were undocumented until they tried to apply for college in many circumstances. So
for my clown of the week, I'm going with Rush Limbaugh, who he called Hurricane Irma a liberal hoax, but this was, of course, before he received the evacuation orders, apparently, because he then was forced to evacuate his Florida home. I mean, it's just despicable, right? You're telling people to stay where they are, basically, don't worry about the hurricane. You could legitimately be costing people's lives, and and you have access to a megaphone, which you could be using for greater good. You could be telling people to heed the warnings and be safe. So he chose he made the wrong decision there, and he is a truther. He is a hurricane truther.
A hurricane truther. Like, what is wrong with these people? I mean, hurricane after hurricane after hurricane coming through, these sort of 1 in 500 year storms keep happening, and yet it's a liberal hoax. Like, I just don't, and there's no apology, right? Like, he's not going to come back and say, "Oh, I was wrong." He's just going to be like, "Hey, I'm back, guys, in my studio." Yeah, and a little bit.
And these right-wing trolls have kind of politicized the climate so much that, it was like Rush Limbaugh saying it's a liberal hoax that a fucking hurricane exists. And then I think Ann Coulter also tweeted about it, saying something that that liberals are overestimating how powerful this storm is or something. I don't understand what the upside is, aside from just I don't understand what the positive upside for humanity is to not warn people about a fucking storm.
It was the most powerful hurricane in the Atlantic ever, apparently.
Yeah, I think it's about climate change denial, but you can't deny a hurricane. I mean, there's no way to fake a hurricane. At that point, this is close to being a flat earther, right? It's